All right. So to everybody looking for truth, for all the children of Yasharel scattered abroad, um, may Yah bless you and keep you. May Yah make his face shine upon you, and may Yah be gracious unto you. May Yah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So today, um, I'm going to go light on the scripture. I just want to put out what I believe I'm being led to put out. So I know that we can. And if you see my eyes going off to the side, I just have notes on another phone. That's why I'm doing it like this today. Just FYI. But I know we can all see like the writing on the wall. Everything it seems to be crashing and crumbling and falling apart right now. Um, the so-called president of the United States the other day did what he did with the 1776 bill or whatever, um, which is a huge giant slap in the face to a certain group of people while it uplifts a certain type of behavior. Um, so we can see that there's no justice there and there's no justice scheduled to come, right? So what should we be doing? When are we going to get help, right? And I'll be very clear, just right off bat. I don't subject myself to Christianity or any religion or anything like that. There is only one creator. He has a certain people, a peculiar people, a set apart people that were charged with being the bow in the clouds, that were charged with, um, performing his work, being his servant here on earth, um, to bring order to the world, to be the role models of the world. But we haven't been doing that in over 400 years, and the world has turned to crap since then. So until we get back into our places, until we get back in order ourselves, fix ourselves, repent and turn to Him, then we all collectively will be cursed. And that's just the way that our Creator does things. He said what He said. He told us, one time on Mount Sinai, hey, do these things and you'll be good. And we chose to walk contrary to Him. So He's walking contrary to us. So let me just get into my notes and what I have written down. I put they filled the horizon of our minds with idols at every turn. We work for worthless pieces of paper, for a belief system that fails us, for belief in a system that fails us repeatedly, a system that doesn't care about us, and us being everyone, anybody with a human spirit, anybody that has eyes and ears, a heart, a soul, that doesn't have that racist quality to them, that doesn't have that, um, that just wants to live in peace, that wants to raise their families, that wants to be good people, if you will, right? This is who this is for. Yes, it's for the children of Yasharel first and foremost, because we are supposed to guard His commandments, guard His law, teach His law, do His law. But honestly, it's for um, anybody with that wants to live with common sense, right? By the moral code of the Most High. Um, so this system, it doesn't care about us, a system that hates us, and the us now being the African American people, if you will, um, and everybody else is collateral damage. I promise you, you know, collateral damage in the sense that all of the food is being poisoned, all of our frequencies are being thrown off by these cell towers and cell phones and mood enhancers that they put in the food, and um, lack of correct medical care. Our system is literally designed to give us cancer with the foods that we eat. We have the worst diet in the world, and we wonder why we have the highest cancer rates, the highest obesity rates. It's because the system that is in place right now, the USDA, the FDA, all these agencies, they are there to ensure that we get the worst nutrition for our bodies, right? Yah has a way for his people to eat. Um, and when you choose against that, you want to have your bacon, egg, and cheese, and your pork and your shrimp Alfredo and whatever else. It just you're gonna get parasites. He didn't tell us the why. He just gave us the don't do this, and if we listened, we would have been okay. But again, the system is designed, the whole entire system from the top down is designed to walk contrary and to have everyone walk contrary to the laws of Yah. Truth is cast to the ground, right? So when you have restaurants like Red Lobster and all these burger places and KFC, and they literally don't even. All right, that's not what this is about. Let me get back to what I have written down. Um, so a system that hates us, a system that has been built to take away our love, right? Our system that has been built to take away our love for one another, a system that divides us at every turn. We are divided by race, by class, by sports teams, by gender, by religion, by the cities that we live in. If you don't live in the wealthy city and you live in the poor city, you get talked about for that, right? I live in Connecticut, right, currently. And if you live in, let's say Bridgeport versus Greenwich, there's a big difference in those two places, right? And the people from Greenwich feel one way about the people from Bridgeport and vice versa. So they've divided us at every turn, but we're all still human, most of us anyway. And we should be able to have empathy for one another and to recognize where injustice is being done. And we should all seek to be getting that injustice corrected. There should be no homeless people out here. There should be no hungry people out here. There's more than enough land throughout the entirety of what we call the United States to build homes and living situations comfortably for everyone. Yet we choose not to. And we want to give money to people that are insurrectionists and money to other countries and fight wars that don't need to be fought. Like, it makes zero sense. And we all go along with it, right? The way that we fight back is doing Yah's law by getting his people to get back into covenant with him, right? And by his people, yes, I'm saying the African-American people in the United States and other people scattered abroad. And he's calling right now. We must get ready to go home to Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, northern Arizona. That's our homeland. That is the promised land. I promise you, that's the promised land, pun intended. Great Basin National Park is ancient Jerusalem, something that nobody ever told you, and they hid the truth in front of us, our faces, the last 400 years, and then gave us a stumbling stone so that we wouldn't even know to look over there. Just go look at that big giant heart on the map of the United States of America. You can use Google Earth, use any map you feel, but that big giant heart, that's the mountain ranges form a big giant heart in the southwest over there. You think that's by mistake? And then to go even further, go look for the letter Shin in Nevada. Shin represents consuming fire. It's a Hebrew letter. It represents consuming fire, represents teeth, but it's also the signature for El Shaddai. El Shaddai being God Almighty, the Most High, right? Just go look. It's right there, right on his land. And then right north of the letter Shin is like, that's where ancient Jerusalem is, Great Basin National Park. It's like an unraveled heart. If your heart is a vortex and the letter, let me back up really quick. So I said the letter Shin is on the written on the land in the form of mountain ranges in the land of Nevada, what we call Nevada. The letter Shin is also written on your heart. Look it up. Google what I'm saying to you right now. The letter Shin shapes I don't want to say the arteries or I don't know, the veins inside of the human heart, which also the letter Shin, your second witness, written on the mountain ranges out in Nevada. How is that possible? Right? And then, as I was saying, Great Basin National Park looks like an unraveled heart. Like if your heart is a vortex, and if you open it up and you unravel it and stretch it out, that's what Jerusalem looks like, an enlarged heart. Jerusalem being Great Basin National Park and Mount Moriah. And I have videos about this. I might not be doing a great job of explaining it right now, but I have videos with visuals of what I'm saying. You can go look at my page and find those. If you can look, I have a TikTok, Bible is History 777. You can look at it there, or you can look at it here on YouTube, or even on my Facebook. Continuing. Sorry, my phone, of course, my phone's acting up. Let's see. All right. So where'd I lose off? So a system built to take away love, class, gender, sports team, by the cities we live in, by the cars that we drive, by the clothes that we wear, so on and so forth. Do you think people would choose to live? Do you think people would choose to live in the projects, right? And when I was growing up in 80s, 90s, down in Bridgeport, they had these housing situations called projects, right? Everybody lived on top of each other. Certain type of people lived there. It's mostly black people and Spanish people, namely Puerto Ricans. And we all just kind of lived together, but it wasn't the best situation. There was a lot of drugs. There was a lot of, there's just a lot of chaos, right? It's like a dark cloud that resided over that area. We didn't choose to live there. We were forced to live there, right? We're living out the end of a curse that was put on us from the time of our forefathers because we chose to walk contrary to Yah. And Yah is letting a certain people rule over us right now, our enemies that hate us, until we wake up. He's using one group of people to correct another group of people, the heathen, to circumcise the hearts of the uncircumcised, if you will. But no, we wouldn't choose to live there. We wouldn't choose to outright live in rundown neighborhoods, right? Where you're not even safe in your own home, where the walls that are meant to protect you feel like more prison than security, where police pull you over for the color of your skin and harass you nonstop, might shoot you in the back, might do illegal searches on you, take you to jail for nothing, where this doesn't happen in Greenwich, right? It doesn't happen in Westport. It doesn't happen in probably Beverly Hills or wherever. It doesn't happen in these places where the police hate you and are worse than the gangs of the neighborhood. We didn't choose this life, and nobody ever would consciously choose that type of a lifestyle. There's no choice to be made. Like I said, we are cursed by our Creator because we continually choose to walk contrary to his law, and because we still don't get it. He's not going to help us until we put down all of our idols. And the foremost idol that comes to mind is religion, specifically Christianity. They gave us Jesus as a stumbling stone. They beat it into us. And it's so good now that we go to church, not all of us, but a lot of us go to those situations and worship a God that cannot save. And he tells us over and over and over again. Go read Isaiah chapter 42 through chapter 49. He says it at least 15 times. There is no God besides him. And he says it in the first person singular. There was no Jesus back then. King David didn't pray to Jesus, right? King Solomon didn't pray to Jesus. Moses didn't pray to Jesus. He didn't see Jesus face to face. It was God, or the angel representing God, and that angel was not Jesus. All right? So religion is one of our biggest idols. There is, which is why and it's being weaponized against us by our government, right? They have this thing called the 501c3. It's the way that these churches are able to, in short, do their tax paperwork with the government. If they are registered as a 501c3 church, then they will not have to pay taxes from the tithes that they collect from their parishioners. But there's a catch, and I want to say that catch is they got to preach the New Testament. You can't be out here preaching the truth and then still having a 501c3. It's just not going to happen because they don't want us to wake up. That's why you don't do it for price or reward, right? Don't preach the truth for price or reward. He says it. So all religions are false, right? There's only one way. It's called the way. There's only one way, right? Just love Yah, do his commandments, sacrifice your heart to him, go to him with fasting, weeping, and mourning, each one teach one, right? And again, it's not a racist thing. It's just Yah chose a lineal seed line to spread his love, to spread his knowledge, to spread it, to guard his commands, and to do his work. It's not about race. It's about what Yah chose, us recognizing that, and then everybody else falling in line. So there is only one God, the God of Yasharel, the God of Israel, the God of the Hebrews, the creator of heaven and earth, and all that therein is, the one who forms light and creates darkness, right? Isaiah 45:7, the one who provides purpose, who removed kings and sets up kings, a God who gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who know understanding, who reveals deep and secret things, and who knows what's in the darkness, and the light dwells with him, right? Daniel 2:22. A God that took his nation from the midst of another nation by temptations, by signs, by wonders, by war, and by a mighty hand, right? That Moses, and by an outstretched arm, and by great terrors. Remember the 10 plagues of Egypt? And then they were set free after the firstborn. That's from Deuteronomy 4:34. We were supposed to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a kingdom of priests. Every one of us was supposed to be a priest. That was the original goal, right? A kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a peculiar treasure for the creator of existence, right? Instead, what do we choose now? Back in the days, I'm not sure, you can go read the Bible for yourself, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, spend some time in Chronicles and King and Samuel and all these books, and just look at the history, look at the chaos, the chaotic lives that these people lived. Everybody had their hand against their brother. Everybody was lying. We were supposed to be representatives of the creator, and we completely fell apart at the seams. Even the king, sleeping with somebody that was betrothed, not married, betrothed. There's a difference to somebody else, So it was, we did not lead by example, and he's given us another chance. And if we don't take this chance now, it's going to be 490 times 7. So whatever that is, that's how long we're going to have to wait before this chance comes around again. So it was in our best interest to get this right now, right? But yeah, instead we chose to be rappers, basketball players, pastors for a false prophet, right? Christianity, prophets of Baal. Our whole nation has changed our God to that which is not God, and changed our glory to that which does not profit. That's Jeremiah 2:13. We committed 2 evils as a nation, right? Nation of Yasharel, 2 evils. The people that he gave his covenant to, the people that he took out of Egypt, right? He didn't take everybody out of Egypt. There was people that were left there, right? The Egyptians, namely. And there was a lot of Israelites that chose to not go and follow God, and chose not to get on the bandwagon with Moses and everybody, right? And they perished in Egypt. But we committed 2 evils as a nation. We've forsaken our fountain of living water and created cisterns which can hold no water, right? A cistern is like a well, that is supposed to hold water for each household or whatever. Meaning we put something fake and broken in place of the real thing, right? Yah is the living water, and we got broken cisterns that can hold no water, right? Religion being that broken cistern. How many prayers have gone up from how many countless billions of people on this planet asking for change, asking for help, asking for... You don't think one of these religions, gods, would have answered y'all by now? Like, come on. We're supposed to be, the Hebrews, praying towards Great Bashan National Park, which is ancient Jerusalem. Where do I get that from? I get that from 1 Kings 8, 2 Chronicles 6, chapter 6, verse 6 forward, where King Solomon dedicates the temple and basically says, if we're getting routed by our enemies in a land that is far off, if you pray towards this place, we say sorry and not promise not to do it again, you're going to heal our land. And he accepts that prayer, right? So that's why they have fake Jerusalem set up in what we think of as the Middle East, which is the opposite direction for most people, of which they should be facing, praying to the Creator, right? But we don't understand these deeper things. We just go along and go about our days and accept what's right in front of us. You don't think... Let's put it like this. Like, people always, in Christianity, oh, you're going to hell, you don't believe in Jesus, you don't accept Jesus, right? You don't think you live in hell right now? Just think about it. You got babies dying every day from vaccines, from sexual assault, from negligence of their own parents, from just disgusting things happen. Our government, everybody knows, the Epstein files came out. If you read them, you can see the chaotic, crazy stuff that they're into. And they make the decisions that affect people's day to day out here. Um, and we've all just kind of gone our own way. And this, to me, is the worst type of hell. Like, you got people that are so selfish that we watch other people go through the most craziest situations and we won't help. And we don't, I don't know. It's just, I'm sure it could get worse than this, but it's pretty bad right now. That's what I'm saying, right? And we were waiting for, a hell of burning flames where we're kind of in the flames right now. And we don't even realize it because our empathy's been turned off, right? Like, it's crazy. But if you were to sit with, your creator and just ask for the truth and ask him to reveal, the truth, he'll reveal it to you. But it has to be from a genuine place, You have to be able to accept, yeah, black people might be the chosen people of God, It might not be for everyone, but it's just, it is what it is. And we don't have so much hate in our heart, even after what everybody has done to us these last 400, 500 years, stealing our land, raping our women, raping our men, taking our babies, separating households, redlining our districts, poisoning our water supply, our food supply, taking housing away from us, kicking the men's out of the home, so on and so forth, pitting us against each other. We still have the heart to forgive. We just want to go live in peace and go serve our God and do it the right way, the way that he told us to, right? It's just as simple as that. We want to go home. We want to go live in our homeland. You Spanish people come from Spain. Portuguese people come from Portugal. Chinese people come from China. Where do we come from? They want to say Africa. We're not African. That term African American came in 1988, right? With Jesse Jackson. Before that, we were Negro. Before that, we were colored. Before that, we were Indian. Before that, we were, they just keep reclassifying us. And if you can't understand that, if you can't get what I'm saying, then you might be part of the problem. This is our land. What you want to call the United States of America was repopulated with orphan trained babies in the early 1900s, and people think that just because they've been here for 2 or 3 generations that they have claim to this land. We just want to go home to serve our creator. That's what I'm saying here in this message. And we need to wake up and we need to start living by his law, pray facing the correct direction, and practice the righteous way to live until he takes us home. Because if we get back to that land and we're still not doing the right thing, the land's going to vomit us out again. Continuing. So we've all been handed lies. Every single one of us on this earth. Lies about religion, about history, about, they put sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet. Just everything's a lie. Everything, right? How we're supposed to eat, lie. Not supposed to eat 3 times a day. How we're supposed to sleep, lie. We're not supposed to sleep 8 hours at a time in one straight shot. It just is lie after lie after lie, right? Everything. There's this one song that when I was starting to wake up, it helped me out a lot. And I hate to go to secular stuff, but it did help me out. And I believe Yah uses his entire creation, good, bad, ugly, whatever, to get his point across. So that's why I'm going to mention this song now. It's called The Mystery of Iniquity by Lauryn Hill. It all falls down. So I ask everybody, that's under the sound of my voice right now, we all see the chaos that's being sown. Go listen to that song. They are trying to corral everyone like sheep, using fear as their sheepdog, into religion, namely Christianity here in America. If you haven't noticed lately, everybody, every celebrity, every movie star, musician, they're all, I'm a Christian. Jesus saved my life. Well, seriously? Now y'all, last week you was twerking on stage, and last week you were talking about guns and drugs and sex and this and that, and now no, I don't work like that. Yah is a God of action, and your heart must match your actions. Your actions must match your heart. So
You know, King David was rewarded with that kingship because he took action for his God. Phineas as well, rewarded with the covenant of peace because he took action for his God, right? Eliezer, these are men of action. You can say all the words you want, but until there's some action, living a life dedicated to your Creator, which is not hard to do. It's the whole duty of man, right? Ecclesiastes 12:13. The whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's what we're put on this earth to do, right? He's testing us right now. He puts the good against the evil and see who's going to come out on top, because he only wants the pure for whatever comes next. That's from the book of Gad, I want to say. And all these, just so you know, I do read what people refer to as the Apocrypha because, one, the Bible mentions it, the Hebrew Bible, Book of Enoch, the Jubilees, Jasher, Gad. There's some stuff I haven't even touched yet, like the Book of the Wars of the Lord and stuff like that. But these are all books that are mentioned in the Bible. If these books are mentioned, that means go read them, right? Just because they took them out after they were put in there initially, right? The Book of Wisdom, the Book of Ben Sira, the Book of Maccabees 1 and 2, the Book of Baruch. All these books, they came out in the 1611 King James Bible, if you read the King James. And then eventually they took them out because they realized that people were still waking up and seeing through their fake narrative with the whole Jesus and everything like that, just by reading these extra books. So take the time to read. Read for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you or interpret to you or preach to you, and don't take it easy. Like, I don't know how much time we have left in this condition, but I can tell you the enemy's working very hard, and the high is letting them to bring his purposes to pass. So, if you're still on that valley of decision, you might not have too much time to understand that Jesus is not coming to save you. There is no rapture. There's nobody. It's going to be, you do Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments. You do them. You perform them, because that's what's going to save you, right? There's a certain reason, hint, hint, why there are food laws. Maybe because they're poisoning the food, and if you just keep the food laws, then you'll be preserved. And I can go on and on about why with the different laws, but that's for another video. But like I was saying, take the time to read the answers of the tests that are of life that's in your hand. The answers to the test of life that is in your hand is the Hebrew Bible. And you might be able to get somewhere in understanding the Hebrew Bible, but the deeper things, the really hidden secret things, Yah left that with the Hebrews. He put the key inside of it through their experiences, their life experiences, through their pain, their hurt, their suffering. They're going to bring out golden gems of nuggets whenever they wake up. So to the people that are in the truth, that aren't Hebrews, help wake them up. You might know a little something. You might know a little history about what I'm saying, that the Indians of America are the true people. But if you really want to learn, if you really want to get the golden gems of what's really being said in the Bible and our purpose for all of us here, help wake them up. Help wake them up. Challenge them to do their purpose, to live out their job, right? Because you know. And for the Hebrews, we got to pray, fast, study, and repeat. That's our purpose right now. Pray sincerely, not in anyone's name. Just pray to the Creator. King David didn't pray to Jesus. Samuel didn't either. Neither did Isaiah or Daniel or Jeremiah. Just pray with tears. Pray from the heart. Excuse me. Pray that the Hebrews wake up and do what Ahia told them to do when they left Egypt, and they agreed to that, right? They said, we will hear and we will do. And until that happens, the world will continue to spin out of control and dovetail into chaos. Yah put something special into his set-apart people that the rest of the world just doesn't possess. We continue to squander his gifts on vanity, right? I'm not being haughty right now, but essentially, what we call African Americans or black people or whatever, we bring the salt to the world. We bring the soul, the spirit, the fun to the cookout, right? We're usually and I'm not being haughty, but the most athletic, the most, we have the most rhythm, the most soul, the most whatever, right? Everybody, once upon a time, I'm not saying anymore, we used to like the music that certain artists put out, you know, Kanye West, Jay-Z, so on and so forth. They just have a certain essence about them, rhythm about them, cadence about them that people like to grab onto. It's because Yah put something in his people, right? And people flock to that. Everybody's looking for something in this world, that hole to fill their heart, and they don't know that it's Yah, right? That's why we all have our vices here, is because we're trying to fill that hole where we should be chasing God with vanities of this world. And it's never going to work until we understand that we should be chasing Yah with everything that we have. So he allowed his people to live our lives in pain, toil, darkness, sadness, grief, sickness, and death, just to name a few. And all the Hebrews specifically have to do is obey, get back in covenant with the Creator. Whomever helps the Hebrews wake up, we will be blessed. Tell them who they are. Ask them if they know that they're a child of the Most High, if they know where their land is. Do they know where Zion is? Do they know where the city of David is? That is Great Basin National Park that nobody's going to right now because they think Jerusalem is in Africa or Middle East or wherever. That little amusement park that they set up in 1948, that they were choosing amongst different nations where to place that place. So we, the Hebrews, have a calling to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That calling still stands. Our land inheritance, because it's never about heaven, it was about a land inheritance, right? That's what he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a land inheritance. Is Great Basin National Park. That's ancient Jerusalem, and by extension, Nevada, Utah. So when a Hebrew prays, they should be facing towards the temple, where the temple once stood, Mount Moriah, Nevada, right? From wherever you are on earth. The days of living pointless lives and going to and fro for vacation, for work, for school, for vanity is over. The writing is on the wall. Just like in Daniel, when the writing was on the wall and then the kingdom ended that night, the writing is on the wall. If you can't see what's going on, so it's time for us to put away iniquity and let's go serve our Creator with clean hands and a pure heart, and just chase the Creator with everything, and I mean everything that you have. These jobs are not going to mean anything very soon. We're all going to wake up, bank accounts are going to be zero. None of this is going to matter. We're all chasing vanity. We've all been fed lies, and it's time to choose. So for everybody searching for truth, not just the Hebrews, for everybody searching for truth, may Yah bless you and keep you. May Yah make his face shine upon you. May Yah be gracious unto you, and may Yah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Salah.